Grace and peace, everyone. This is Minister Honorio, and I am here with the last piece in the series on the blessing of brotherhood. Brotherhood makes the difference. And we said brotherhood makes the difference because brotherhood reaches, brotherhood teaches, brotherhood protects. Brotherhood reaches, teaches, and protects. And we've been focusing on the relationship between Jonathan and David. Jonathan, who was the son of King Saul, the heir to the throne, and yet Jonathan did not allow his royalty. Jonathan did not allow what looked very obviously as God's favor and God's positioning, God's hand on David to intimidate him or to keep him in a place of envy. And Jonathan reached out. Jonathan was a model to David of what it is that was already inside of David, that calling for David to rise up and be king. I love this truth that I learned years ago from T.D. Jakes. He articulated this truth from 1 Samuel chapter 18. David could deal with Goliath all by himself. He was just a young man. He was a boy, and he went out by faith and took down Goliath. He dealt with Goliath all by himself. He even dealt with lions and bears all by himself, protecting the sheep. And David did not have a whole lot of space in his heart for family and brotherhood. He was wounded. His father forgot him, left him out when Samuel the prophet came for the feast. His own brothers, if you read 1 Samuel 17 and 18, his own brothers just talked down to him, categorized him, named him. What was up with that? David himself was in a place where he could have been someone who justifies being a loner. And look, the American mythology of the hero is the Lone Ranger. It's a sad thing, actually, because the Lone Ranger, his one friend, he called Tonto. I don't know if you know this, but Tonto in Spanish, tonto, means somebody silly, someone stupid, slow of thinking. Man, that's not the way we should have relationships with other men. If that's the way we have relationships, it's not a real authentic relationship. God has not called us to be lone rangers. Real warriors train together. Real warriors indeed know you don't fight alone. You fight side by side, shield to shield, back to back. Now that's a process. Brotherhood is a process, moving from strangers to acquaintances, to friendships, to indeed brotherhood. That's a process. And we'll talk about that process in another podcast. But David would never have been able to deal with Saul. And Saul represents besetting sins that keep coming up, sins that keep you on your knees, sins that make us feel separated and make us doubt our relationship with God. They're issues of the flesh. They're issues of other extrinsic, other outside forces that come at us and push on us and cause us to lose our own sense of self and relationship with God. Often these can be any forms of addictions, sexual addictions, drug addictions, addictions to work, addictions to control, having to put on an image to pretend to be something. Jonathan now, if Saul is a symbol of the flesh, of the carnal human nature chasing us down, even from the inside to take us down, to keep us from being the kings that God has called us to be, then Jonathan is a type of Christ, because Jonathan strips himself of his royalty, strips himself of everything that is his divine privilege, and clothes us in his righteousness and clothes us in his love. Mercy is love manifested in taking something that's not lovable and making it lovable. That's mercy. And Jonathan's that type of Christ, and Jonathan is a call to us as men, indeed, to be transparent, with our own wounds, our own hurts, our own shortcomings, so that that will be a place where the Spirit of God can create authentic brotherhood, so that men can take off masks, so that men can indeed share and confess what is the Saul in our life that threatens the vision of God in us. Because when that Saul gets too much, when that Saul becomes a weight, becomes the Lord of our life, then it threatens the vision of God in us. And it moves us to, causes us to stay in a place where we're stuck or we're moving back into the past, where we forget God's vision for us. And this is the danger. I love this truth taught by our founder, Pastor A.R. Bernard, that a man without a vision for his future always returns to his past. There was nothing more that Satan and Saul wanted than David to simply go away, disappear back into the sheepfold. But Jonathan made the difference. Jonathan was that brother, that man who we can call at whatever time in the day or the night time to confess our sins, to pray with. Jonathan was that brother of encouragement. Jonathan was that brother who indeed reached out to make sure that the vision of God in David was protected. There's a saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with others. What's your vision? What's your vision for the future? What other brother knows? When is the last time you dreamed with God in the midst of your brothers? And whose vision are you helping to protect? Brotherhood makes the difference. It's made all the difference in my life. I'm so grateful for the brothers who God has placed in my life, the Jonathans, the men who indeed opened their hearts, the mentors that I've had. They made and they continue to make all the difference. I will reject isolation, and I pray that you will reject isolation. I pray indeed you will move forward and be a brother, be available, be teachable, be in a place where God can use you to create a culture of brotherhood that equips men to thrive. Brotherhood reaches, brotherhood teaches, brotherhood protects. Brotherhood makes all the difference.